People, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time, people from over here in the UK, or if you're viewing this in the UK, as usual, good morning. You know, I'm half an hour earlier than I normally am, and I appreciate that you're all still here. I see a lot of you in the chat. I see a lot of you where YouTube tells me you're waiting, so I appreciate all of that, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. You know, today is content galore. We've got, I'd say I'm good for about 3 live streams, 4 if you include Rances. So obviously today, well, right now we're talking about Sander Berge, Martinelli, and all the pre-match talking points. Later on, it's watch along business because it's Arsenal versus Olympiacos in the second leg. And then obviously we'll go after that into a reaction stream. So I appreciate everybody in here. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. And, you know, this video when finished, or this live stream better yet, when finished, will take you to a landing page. But if you're not there, information is obviously in the live chat for how you can, you know, get on top of that. Even if you're not going to be at these, please hit the like button. Again, I've been growing a lot and whatnot because of you lot's like buttons. You know, YouTube's demographics are telling me that. So it's a simple step, but it's not just in vain. As I said, I hope you're all well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, people. I hope you're all doing well. Daniel, YouTube don't like me, you know, in the same way I said the like button is driving a lot of views and whatnot. When I look at the analytics, just under 2% of you are being made aware of my videos or watching my videos with the notifications. Now that tells me that's nothing on you lot's end. That's nothing on my end. YouTube is just doing the guy dirty. I don't know why it's not alerting you guys for videos and things, but it is what it is, man. Head over to Twitch. You know, Deluded Gooner 187. Apparently, Twitch are quite good with that, but we're here, man. You know, it's hit and miss. Almost saying notification is fine for him and it works perfectly. But, you know, there's different strokes for different folks. I appreciate all the members, Beanie, Mr. Adlib23, and of course, River Wild. You're always, all 3 of you always here. Fantastic trio, you know, it's coming like Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, MSN 2015. So I hope you're all doing well and safe. You know, I hope everyone's in good spirits. Definitely in good spirits because I know we're still a bit complacent after winning the North London derby. We won 3-1 against Olympiacos. Hopefully later on it's smooth sailing. You know, I'd love a convincing win. I'd love to see Martinelli. I'd love Aubameyang to make himself a hero to the fans again. I don't want to see Saka in a nice way because obviously he's been struggling with his hamstring injury. And, you know, I'd rather him be involved against West Ham when really we should have enough within this squad to get over the line. And even if Saka did play, he's one of them players, if it all went to plan, after 60 odd minutes you want them hooked. So if Saka can save his legs, potentially Smith Rowe as well, if we can take off the Teenies and these sort of players after 60 minutes on top of winning today, it'll be fantastic, man. It'll be fantastic. What are you lot saying, man? You know, we're gonna, you know, first topic will be Sander Berge. And before I get into the article and things, I want to see what you lot are saying. Omar is saying Berge is a decent player. I would have him. Once again, Mr. Adlib, you know, very cultured man, football manager legend, and he is true on that. He's one of them few players in Football Manager that actually correlate to real life. Ham is saying, I'd like Berge too. He's friends with Odegaard as well, if we're looking to make him permanent. Jamie is saying, Berge is a good player. I like him. I'd love him next to Partey with Ward-Prowse and Ennis Bardi. Fair play, you know. We've got a scout on our hands there. Up everybody locked in. He's a decent player. You know, we're all there. We're all there. Big up DG in the chat. Big up everybody locked in, man. I appreciate all of you lot. And like you said, people, you know, notifications, like Planet X is saying, the notifications over in Twitch don't do the guy dirty. Stay in school, my bro. Stay in school, my bro. But if you're not going to listen to your schoolwork, obviously you're getting an education somewhere else, man. Good morning, Peter. Hope you're doing well and safe, man. You look gas me when you lot are active so early on, man. I appreciate the Twitch gang as well. DS is saying whatever attacking players we put out there, it should be enough to do the job. Mr. Analytical is saying, I want us to score goals this game. I can't lie. Yeah, man. They're speaking in relation to obviously the game we've got later, man. Mr. Adlib is saying YouTube has been coming correct recently. Well, yeah, I think for the majority, it's been doing you lot dirty, but I'm happy to see it works for some people. Let's get into what we need to get into, people. You know, I'm sure you've all got a lot of opinions. Oh, why have I got my own live? Why is my own live stream up on the tab? That's a bit weird. But let's share the screen, people. No, as much as I love Vibes Cartel, we don't actually need to be thinking him. Apologies, people. You know me. I like to listen to music in the morning. I can't lie. I've got a confession. Sometimes I'm a minute or so late because I've lost track of time because I'm into the mixes and things. But let's get into this Sander Berge business. In fact, before we carry on with that, people, again, for the, you know me, I'm a very considerate person. For the people that aren't locked in, you know, Sander Berge, links. I'm going to make sure it's there for them. That's not how you spell links. But yeah, going back to the first article I read, my opinions on Sander Berge before I get into this. I think 23 years of age. First things first, he ties into what we've got. You know, the Tierney's, the Gabriels, the Sakas. You know, all of these sort of guys, they're of that age. And I think Sander Berge can be central to that. I think listen, I don't think he's world class. I don't think he's the best midfielder ever. But that doesn't mean you can't be a good player. I think he's shown himself. You know, wasn't it in the Champions League? He played good against Liverpool a couple of years ago. I could be wrong. I won't say he set the world alight at Sheffield United, but I think he's shown himself to be a good player. Obviously, he's been done unfortunate of recent with an injury, but I think his age, his experience, I think he's a very good player. I think he's a quality player. I think he can add something to us. Obviously, there's resale value. Obviously, he's a Norwegian international as well. And, you know, I'm not going to mention Odegaard because he's not our player, but it would be a good one. And I think he would be good next to Partey. He's mobile. He can pass the ball forward. You know, he's consistent. I like him. What? I swear Sheffield United spent like 20 odd million for him. Again, I want to be wary of what I'm saying because I think the days have kind of gone of you can bully championship teams or people are relegated. They have to sell their players. You know, there will be a couple of players if you can. I don't think there's much. You know, I'd say a Manford probably will be not be playing in the championship. I believe Sander Berge can get a move. You know, there's not really that much to pick from Sheffield United. But, you know, you go to Norwich. Norwich went down. They sold a couple of players that made sense to them. Jamal Lewis and obviously Ben Godfrey to Newcastle and Everton, respectively. They said no to Buendia, no to Cantwell, no to Max Aarons and things like that. You can't bully teams. You know, Brentford, Ivan Toney, you're spending 30 odd million if you want him to play Premier League football next season. You can't bully these teams anymore. So I wouldn't say Sheffield need to sell, but looking at it, he's on 50 bags a week. Now, for Arsenal, that's cool because you could give him, you know, you would have to give him more respectable wages and probably, you know, give him something a bit healthier than that. But 50k for us isn't a thing. 50k, I think that makes him their first or second highest earner. So obviously, when you go down, you need to cut costs. He's someone that could be moved on. I'm not gonna lie, he's not gonna be first on my list, but he's someone I would take. I think he gets it. I think he's, you know, he's not name brand like that. He gets the job, but as you lot can see, this article is saying apparently, and he's obviously been linked with us, Spurs, and Liverpool, and we don't know. You know, his agents or middlemen that think they could be making a buck, they could be acting on behalf of the club. They could be driving up the interest. You know, they could be forcing the issue. Really, you know, his advisors or whatever could be more interested in this move than Liverpool and Arsenal. You know, he's been linked with Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs. It might be a team that isn't any three of these teams, that move for the player. Apparently, the Blades board want to hold on to the Norwegian international next season as part of the promotional push and will only sell their star player if a bid comes in that is simply too good to turn down. Sheffield United are not planning a fire sale following relegation. For what? This don't make sense. Sheffield United are not planning a fire sale following relegation to the Premier League. I think they mean to the Championship, and plan to hold on to as many of their star players as possible. With respect, how many players could you say are star players at Sheffield United? You know, really and truly, you know, it's only Sander Berge, really. You know, maybe Ramsdale could get a move somewhere and be a goalie. I wouldn't be forcing that one out there. There's not too many players that are going to get moves. Maybe the Championship teams that get promoted might lean on you lot, but it's not too much of you, you know. There's not too many players from Sheffield United with respect, and I think this is why you're in this mess. You know, you've got barely some players are League One. As you lot can see here, people, he's been linked with another name in Villa. He's been linked with Liverpool. He's been linked with Arsenal. And again, apparently they just want to make their money back and recoup the 22.5 million they spent on him from Belgian team Gent. It is what it is, people. Well, it actually says reports are wide of the mark, actually. And it says Sheffield United will reject any offer of this nature and will only sell if a bid is received substantially more than this. Now, I'm not going to lie to you lot, people, with respect. If they want more than that, as much as I like him, I'll pay 20 odd. But if you've got 30, 40 million, you're saying that for Sander Berge, I'd rather go for someone that is more of a number 6 profile or for 40, 50. You know, I'm never going to give up on the hour shouts. You might as well just slap whatever you was going to slap on him and go and get hour, in my opinion. You know, if there's a deal to be done, I'm all for that. You know, if I think personally, if Sander Berge is being done for 30, 40 million, I'd rather take that money and go for another target or look to get Odegaard on another year's loan. Or you have to probably ask Sander Berge to force the issue. He would have to force it to the point where they have to sell him. Really and truly, you know, we'll have to see. They're planning for next season, like you said. The other parts of this article clearly look like was. It is what it is in that, you know, depending on who you read. You know, apparently, I don't know, West Ham, he's a West Ham target. Liverpool are moving for him. Arsenal and Liverpool there. Liverpool expected to join the pursuit. Liverpool. So there's clearly a propaganda piece. I believe the bulk of that comes because Klopp praised him a couple of years ago. I'm sure when Gent played Liverpool, I could be wrong. Look, Jose Mourinho trying to hijack the move. This could be pressure from his advisors to get him out of the team. This could be pressure from a team that might be negotiating for Sander Berge in the background. Because once you hear Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, and the rest of it, you're gonna have to get a move on. And as you look can see here, Liverpool again. Ronaldo might bust out. He's been linked with Liverpool again, so I wouldn't mind him. People, I like Sander Berge, but again, for the money that allegedly they want, I'd rather go for a Basuma or go for a target that ain't even in this league, because I don't like keep screaming the same names in relation to targets. So it is what it is in relation to Sander Berge. I think it's was, for what it's worth. How many appearances has he made? He's only been there a year or so. He's tied for Sheffield United. They spent 20 odd million. He's tied down for a significant period of his career, at least the next 4 years. So on top of clubs, I don't feel needing to be bullied anymore. They're in a position of strength. The only thing would be, for me, he's one of your highest earners. And again, when you get relegated, I know there's parachute payments and all these things, but you want to kind of calm it down in that regards. Man said we should get Phil Jagielka, your boy in it, really and truly. I'll take Dave McGoldrick for the culture, but there ain't no players I'd really take from Sheffield unless it's my man. He's played 13 times this season. I'm sure he's got an injury, and as you can see, he's played no part right now in their attempt to probably try to stay up, which is gone now because of injury. How many appearances has he made? He's actually only played, considering he joined over a year ago, he's played 30 times for them. That's cool. He's played 113 times for Gent. Obviously played in Europe as well. There is experience in that regard. There's something to work with. But I think it's was for what it's worth. I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, when you see Sander Berge linked with us, when we've got this man in the graphic on loan and there's talk of him staying permanently or alone for another year, let's get the Norwegians together, Can you lot bring me Haaland as well? I know we can't get Haaland, but a man can dream. I think that's harsh, TB, about very injury prone. I'm not too sure on that. He's just had a big injury. I'm not too sure on that. How many times has he been injured? Because he had a lengthy layoff here this season, which could happen to anyone. Was he injured too much next season? I could be wrong. I just want to, just see if there's any truth in that. So what? I'm not sure, bro, because this was his first season in England, and he looks like an ever-present, and he needs to show me all comps, not that Sheffield are playing in all comps, with respect to Sheffield United. No disrespect. But I just want to see if you're talking the truth with that injury stuff. This ain't, it is, yeah, because he moved in January. Look, ever present in the Champions League for them. So I knew I wasn't bugging, I knew he had a good performance against Liverpool. I don't remember which game it was, but I'm sure he had a good performance against them. Again, done his thing in the Premier League. I don't think he's got any injuries there, my broski. Like, you might be wassing it there, he's just had the injury. We need to separate injury prone from a man getting an injury, which is part and parcel of being a professional footballer. It's like being a plumber or a tradesman. You're gonna cut your hand once or twice in your career. Fair play, you might be right, because you go back a further years, a couple knee injuries there. Is there anything else that affected him? Couple knee injuries again, calf problems. Hey, shout out TB. He's right on that. So if we go back again, shout out TB. This is why I like you lot here. You not have points that might have went over my head. So you go back 2 years, he's had a bit of injury problems. Let's go to 17, 18. He has had a couple injuries. I wouldn't say he's injury prone, but there is some truth in that. In fact, hey, TB, my guy, TB, you have to become moderator, because this is knowledge. You're schooling the chat, torn muscle. Again, I don't want to harp on about it, but it's a bit like when we're linked with Lamptey. Have I said Lamptey's name right? Forgive me if I haven't. In that I would take him, but it seems that he can't, I would take Tariq regardless, but he seems to have a problem with injuries. And I look at how we've managed Partey and Tierney. I don't know what we're doing in relation to looking after these players, but it wouldn't give me confidence, in that regards. Big up Titch. Oh, bro, give TB his flowers, man. Give TB his flowers. Where do I find that player in player injury history thing, my guy? How do I click on that? Because that would be 10 times easier than doing this. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, man. And update me on how you do it. Someone show me how I look at his injury stuff. Shall I take it old school and just copy and paste his name? There's 159 of you in here. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. So like I said, TB's had a fantastic point. Let's scrutinize that one there a bit more. Not his point, but look into the injury because he threw up something valid there. He's missed 20 games for Sheffield United. What? He's missed what? In 18, 19, he missed 9 games. He's missed 55 days. Let me see. Let me get my calculator out and see in the last couple of years how long he's missed out through injury. Again, my maths is on the floor, people. But what? He's missed 93 days there, 13 days with a knock, 3 days there, 55 there, 11. Oh gosh, let me start again. 93 plus 13 plus 3 plus 11 plus 60. Did I miss out? 55 plus 143 plus 75. Madman. So that's the first. Let me do that again because I think I missed something. I feel under pressure doing this, knowing that I'm live right now and I'm taking long with this thing. My maths is not my strong point unless you put a pound sign in front of it. So yeah, he's missed 400, 500 odd days due to injuries over the last few years, people, from 16, 17. And you look at it, you know, you can't scrutinize it anymore, but I'm trying to see, is there a theme? Big up TB once again. Is there a recurring theme of injuries in this regards? Because again, some of these could be unlucky. You know, I see the one thing that's scaring me. I see knee. This fitness thing, I don't know what go on for that, but I see knee. That scares me because at Arsenal, that is going to become a thing. Surgery, obviously, to fix that, and he's obviously going to miss out. And again, we don't have time to see how these injuries were caused. Were they impact? Were they training? Were they due to stress levels and things like that? But that could only be the concern, really. So great point from TB. And with all of that, you know, that's the only thing I would say now that would concern me, because you look at our 2 recent signings, you know, Tierney, I don't feel we managed Tierney properly. I don't feel we've managed Partey properly. You know, it's not always matches that lead to man's injury. A guy might go, and you know, obviously there's impact injuries, but someone might go down in 90 minutes, but that could have been a result of what they're doing in the week. You know, they could have been too high of a training workload. You're stressing out muscles and things like that, and then it's led to them breaking down. It's not always, yeah, I've been running about and something's happened. So it is what it is in that regard. That's the only thing that can concern me. If it's on ability, I'm taking him. Once again, TB needs his flowers. Good shout there. And again, he's missed a lot of days. Arsenal's fitness sort of thing hasn't really been a madness in that regard. So yeah, why I would still take him. You know, I don't like to use these things to scare me. It's made me go from being 90% on this to being 75% on this as well. So we'll have to see. The injuries are the only concern, but, you know, he's got the physical presence, I believe. He's got the passing ability. He's got the competency to succeed in the Premier League. And, you know, every Norwegian player we sign gets us that much closer to signing Haaland. Of course, we're not signing Haaland, but man, them can dream, innit? We can dream. But yeah, with that, I think we're done on the Sander Berge business. TB, once again, big up yourself for that one. Great shout. And that's why I like having you lot here, people, because we're here to chat football. Do a search on Thomas Partey. You do a search on Thomas Partey, bro. Yeah, come on, man. Did that. We know Thomas Partey never had no injuries. You know what, Andy? Just to humour you, you know, let's look at Partey's injury history, because we already know he was barely injured at Atletico Madrid. Lo and behold, man, come Arsenal and a madness happens. Transfer mark. Let's go. Just because you asked twice, man, dude, let's see what going for Partey's injury thingies. Let me share this one there with you once again. Yeah, 400, 500. I weren't confident in saying the number in it. I can't even cap people. I got 2 different answers. So I just said 400, 500 and stayed on the fence. You know the ones there. But anyways, people, let's share up the thing. As you look can see, hit the like button. 187 of you. One of my favorite numbers, 187. Deluded Gooner 187, even on Twitch. Subscribe to that. But looking at his injury things, people, you know, in relation to Atletico Madrid, he's only missed what? 30 odd days, people, if that. Like, well, he's missed 6 games in his time at Atletico. He's missed a madness at Arsenal. He's missed 18 days already, and obviously, well, 18 games. And look how many days he's been out already, people. That's because we're not managing man's stress levels and stuff. Like with the hamstring, we've obviously not managed his workload. His hip, obviously, that's another injury. And that you see, ironically, with Lamptey, you get, when you're injured a lot and you have these things, you get little other knocks as a result of it. So it's for me, Partey's one tells me about rehabilitation and how we're looking after him midweek, because you can't go from never being injured to seeming to be a sort of flight risk in that regards at Arsenal. Like, we're always concerned about Partey. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but last game in the Premier League, was that not the first one he actually got 90 minutes? I could be wrong. In fact, let's actually look at Thomas Partey and see how many times my man's actually played 90 minutes. Are you going to take me? Right, you're not going to take me there. So I guess I have to do it the long way. I'm a bit of a freshie when it comes to technology, people. Like, I'm poor with technology, so we have to do it this way. Come out of it and go back in. But as you look can see, the 27-year-old, all we care about is this season. Show me them detailed ones there. What's going on here? As you look can see, he's only played 14 times in the Premier League, and he's completed 876 minutes. He's made 21 appearances in total. You have to discount 3 of those because obviously we bought him while he was still playing. Now, pardon me, he's played 90 minutes once in the Europa League. Obviously, he's been plagued by injuries in the Premier League. Again, fair play. He's played 90 minutes twice there. I'm sure the last time he played 90 was the first time of recent. All right, fair play. I'm talking nonsense, people. Well, yeah, to be fair, he didn't play 90 for a couple of weeks prior to that, so it was the first time in a while. But he's getting over it to a degree. He got 90 against Spurs. He got 80 against Burnley, 74 before obviously getting injured against Villa. He's been doing all right. He's been going through patches. We need to get him out of this because he's a bad boy footballer, as you know. But that's that with Thomas Partey, my dude. I love that, Andy, man. I appreciate that, man. Please, everybody hit the like button. Bro, to be fair, fair play if that's what they're saying, but I'm just looking at the data. I don't really, whatever fans were saying, it doesn't look like he was injured at Atletico. So again, regardless of whether he was actually injured at Atletico or not, there's something we're doing with our rehab, because he can't go from being playing week in, week out for Atletico to us ooming and ahhing with every touch and every tackle. So there's got to be something, man. We'll have to see. If you've got any credibility to back that up, I'd welcome it. I think Saka will be in that lineup, but it is what it is, man. I'm just focused on Arsenal right now. Love my dude. Love my dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. You're gonna have to go and look at someone. Just answered you, Ryan. I think he will get selected, bro. Calm down, bros. Calm down. But we need a player who can do the Santi thing. I think we need another number 6 if Thomas Partey isn't there. If we need our midfield options aren't great in it. Like, we can't. What I don't want to do is get into this situation, which we are in that. Partey is an amazing footballer. I think Partey is certified, but he's irrelevant if he's injured, suspended, or loses form. And these are things that happen over a 38-game period. So I don't think we can rely on Partey, even more so with these injury things. I think, yeah, he's a quality player, but unless you're Lionel Messi and these sort of guys, I don't think we should rely on, man. You need different options. If Partey's injured or not fit, you see what happens. So I do think our midfield isn't good enough. And even if we look at Xhaka, for whatever you say about Xhaka, he's playing week in, week out consistently. So you could say arguably we're relying on both. We're relying on both of them, and it's not healthy to rely on 2 midfielders. You need about 4 or 5, and as you lot know, there's a lot of political business in relation to our midfielders already at this football club, people. Even when you look at I know I was meant to get into Martinelli, but I want to jump the gun a bit, people. Not jumping the gun that much, ignore that, but let's just get into Torreira very quickly, people. And I'm not going over the same stuff in relation to Torreira, because you already know where I'm going in relation to Torreira, but somehow he has he's managed to, what's the word? Like, his stock has fallen. His stock has fallen even more than at Arsenal, because I'm sure let me zoom in a bit. I'm sure most Arsenal fans, when you speak about Torreira, we're saying we don't know what's going on in it, but you almost feel hard done by a bit. He's gone from playing week in, week out. We've been screaming, we've been looking for this player for time. For whatever reason, he's been completely rubbed out, trying to make man a 10 and all these things. And like I was saying yesterday on my live stream in the Champions League, we all thought, Torreira, there's bare South American man at Atletico Madrid, South American coach, the way they play football, the way of life on and off the field. It was all certain to just hit the heights, but somehow his stock is at all-time low, because Torreira's, Atletico are top of the table. They've been flying. When your team is doing well, like I was saying a few weeks ago, whatever, when your team is doing well, I don't really think players, you can feel hard done by about not playing in that, but you're not in the team and the team's winning and they're doing wavy and things like that. When I see Atletico against Chelsea and you can't get in, that tells me something, you know. And when I look at it, you know, I saw, I'm not going to sit here and say I knew this, but I saw it via Twitter. Apparently Atletico only have 3 wins in their last 10 games. So for me, that tells me the team is underperforming. When the team's doing well, fair play. But if you can't get into that team, then when they're not doing well, then there's something wrong with you. Because, and on top of that, whatever we have to say, whether it was on field, off field, or whatever, Emre rubbed you out. And I'm not backing Emre because he tried to make man a 10, but Emre rubbed you out after using you. You know, Arteta weren't on using you. You've now gone for Thingy, Simeone, 3 man, you know, based on the second season. For some reason, you've been rubbed out. So there is something you're not doing really. And again, like I said, his stock is at all-time low. You know, the age is still there. He needs to go to a club where he can go somewhere. I know a lot of men and women in my that are subscribed to me sit here and say, oh, Atletico aren't using him because of what happened with Partey. And there might be some logic behind that, but think about it realistically, people. Think about it. I hear that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but think about it really and truly. I understand that, people. But Atletico still had to pay a loan fee for Torreira. So for the very fact you spent your own money, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, and now you can't smell again. You can't smell no rice and peas and jerk chicken and all them things there. So it don't make sense. And let's be real. If Simeone genuinely felt the player was levels and can help him, he would use him. Let's be real. He would use him. You know, he would play him. Like, let's be serious. You know, put yourself in your shoes, people. If you think one player can help you more to winning your, based on how they were and the top of the table, winning the league and, you know, overturning a result against Chelsea or just a better man, you would play him, you know. You would play him. It's like my man said, you know, if he was good enough, they'd probably play him. You know, he might be good enough, he might not. All I can say is, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I felt you was a bit hard done by in England, but it looked perfect for you over there at Atletico. It ain't banged for you. So you've got to look at yourself. And for Arsenal, it further complicates things because it's a difficult one for us, as I keep saying, in midfield, because we can talk about who we should sign and all these things until we're blue in the face, people. But on one hand, can you really bring in players without selling players? It's not making sense, really. You know, it's not making sense. You know, we've got too much. Forget about everyone in the team, but look at our midfield. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm sure we've all got something to say with Guendouzi, with Torreira, you know. Technically, Joe Willock is still here. Maitland-Niles, what's going to happen with there? Ceballos saying our player. Xhaka will probably be here, but he's got 2 years left. There's too much uncertainty over midfield, and defense is one thing, but how our midfield improves and plays consistently is going to make the difference. You know, we can sit here and talk about David Luiz and all of these guys making mistakes, but a lot of our mistakes and a lot of the reason we're not in the top 4 is the whole team, but also our midfield. You know, until we improve that midfield, we're not going to be serious. And for me, that's one real place I'm really looking at Arteta. I've said that, and on top of that, you already know that Arteta, and you was a midfielder, so the spotlight's on. And our thing is complicated because, again, everything at best you was hoping Torreira would, you know, play like how he was playing in his first year. Cool. If they don't want to make him permanent, he goes elsewhere. I think we'll just about break even, but in terms of obviously with the COVID and his loss of form, I think we're best off, you know. I would actually, if he says, you know what, I'm on this staying in England thing, or, you know, his family are cool, give him another chance. I think he can be used in the squad. But if man's heart isn't in this, then, you know, loan with an option to buy to the Italian teams, you know, send him back to where he was prior, his old team. He's been linked with Torino, he's been linked with whole heap of teams. I think that's it, you know. If you can get a loan fee, a loan with an option to buy, an obligation to buy, I think that's his thing. Get him out of there. Obviously with Guendouzi, there's, again, just throwing him into a previous point, he's only played 90 minutes for Atletico once, apparently, people. I don't know who said that. I don't know why I've wrote that. Can I back it up with chat? Let's look, people. You know, let's look at just specifically Arsenal. Man said Arsenal, Atletico, because it's irrelevant. And he's 25. He's my age, man. You know, next 2 years, you got to be 30, man. I think Torreira's a baller. I was saying, you know, I feel Torreira, Martinelli, these sort of guys, these were players that I felt we have to enjoy them for a couple of years because they're busting out soon. But looking at him, people, frustrated. He's played 22 times, 15 in the league, twice in Copa del Rey, 5 in the Champions League. As you lot see here, people, 40 minutes in Champions League. Madman, innit? Mad. Yeah, man, that's probably why I like him, Tino, man. I don't know if it's same height. I think I'm taller than Torreira by a little bit still. In fact, how big is 166 meters? I don't be heightist, my guy, because you know what they say. Big things come in us small packages, brother. So, you know, ladies, disclaimers and that. You know the thing. How much is this in feet, man? Again, man, you know, you need maths to be alive. I don't know. Why did I hit news? I'm bugging out, man. Man said 5'4". You're taking a piss. I'm definitely taller than 5'4". Hey, no disrespect to anyone that's 5'4". I'm definitely taller than 5'4". You're boy in it, Pete, my guy. Tino, you're a good guy. Don't do it. I'll start doing you dirty, you know. Anyways, but getting back to it, 40 minutes in the Champions League, violation, you know, violation. Oh, rate me. Man said 5'5". And I got stopped by police. They both times they said 5'8", 5'7". So I'm taking that. Like, I'm taking that. I know I ain't 6 foot, but I'm taking that. Anyways, people, getting back into this. Bro, man, listen. All right. You know, maths isn't my strong point. So yeah, it's a good thing I got you lot here. But getting back to the topic at hand, Champions League, it's been a bit of a joke thing for Lucas Torreira. The man's barely played, as you lot can see, absolute meaty minutes. You know, absolute vials. Obviously, he's had Corona as well. In La Liga, fair play, first 2 games, looking all right. It was looking like what we thought was going to happen. 5 minutes against them. All right, cool. He can't always play. Whatever happened, then the COVID thing happened, and maybe that's, you know, other people have stepped up and you've not been involved. But since then, you know, it's been a Mazzolini for my man. Bench. 19 minutes here, bench, 8 minutes there, 45, fair play, a 5, a 45, a 45, a bench, a 9, 29, 7, bench, 18, bench. It's absolute madness. Bro, I'm surprised he doesn't rate him, but that's why I'm looking at Torreira, bro. That's why it's nothing to do with you know, Simeone could be doing him dirty, but that's why I'm looking at Torreira, because as much as I can say this about Simeone and that about Arteta and that about Emery, at some point, man have to take accountability for their own personal where they're at, sort of thing. You know, that's 3 managers. And like we all say, like you said, bro, you're surprised. I'm surprised. South American speakers, the way they play football. You know, I thought Torreira was going to remind the world what he's on and things. It ain't happened for him. You know, it hasn't. So he has to take some accountability. We heard you know, all the problems were off the field. Cool. He's gone Spain now, where, you know, it's closer to the way of life out there. So why ain't it worked? You know, I do agree he needs a run of games to get going. Anybody does, but you've got to prove you deserve that. Why ain't you got that, Atletico? Why did Emery try rub you out? Now I'm looking at it like Emery might have been a madness. But why did he try and make you attend? Did he feel you lied to him and you weren't really that sort of guy you thought you was? I don't know, but you have to look at him, and I think you've got to take some accountability, you know, because I still think Torreira's a bad boy footballer. You know, I still think it's that Lucas Torreira of the first year. I'm very biased when it comes to Torreira, but you see me, I'm very biased to Guendouzi, to Torreira and Maitland-Niles, admittedly, but, you know, I think my emotion's gone from them. You know, Maitland-Niles, I'm seeing it for what it is. If you're not trying to be a right back, I don't think it's going to happen right now at Arsenal. In the future, we might look at it, but I don't think it's going to happen. You know, Torreira, if your heart's not in this thing, please leave. I would love Guendouzi to come back, but again, if the beef isn't blessed between Arteta and him, let's sell him. Let's make our little profit, our little sell-on clause, reinvest funds, and then the world just has to keep spinning, people. Shameless, in it. They did. But now we can ride with the Partey one. To be fair, Chelsea fans were telling us Callum Hudson-Odoi is better than Saka, and way and the see what they, you know, real star boys are doing real star boy things. But yeah, looking at, he's made 89 appearances for Arsenal. I don't know why I'm looking at this year. This was probably his best year, 18-19, I believe. I could be wrong in that regards. But yeah, man played 34 times for Arsenal. So yeah, this was him doing a mazza. There's got to be something, man, because you don't go from doing that to then just getting rubbed out. Like, to playing 29, fair enough, 29 times in the league's not getting rubbed out. But you get the point, man. That we don't need to keep going through this with Torreira. But yeah, stocks at the floor. And, you know, when you look at our loan players, people, you know, Guendouzi's had a good loan. Of recent, he ain't been in the lineup. Maitland-Niles hardly setting the world alight. Joe Willock's doing okay, hardly setting the world alight. So, you know, the best thing you hope for when people go out on loan is 2 things. Well, it's 1 thing, to play good. So obviously, you know, if he plays good, you can say, oh, come back to this team, or he can be sold. It's a bit like Elneny going to Besiktas. Didn't hit the world alight, struggled to sell my man. Like I said yesterday, Elneny's here by accident. We tried to sell, man. No one wanted to buy him permanently. Besiktas said, cool, we'll take him on loan, you know. we'll take him on loan. They didn't, and then they didn't want to keep him permanently. We couldn't sell Elneny in the summer, so it looks like a masterstroke with Arteta now that he brought him back in and things. And to be fair, Arteta has to use what he has. I don't know if he rates Elneny, but he might think I've got to use Donny for the squad. I don't know if he really wants Xhaka in his team week in, week out, but he's probably got to use him. When I look at how he's used Mustafi and these sort of players previously, he's had to do a lot because of necessity. Just had to do it. So I don't really know what's going on in that regards, but it is what it is. On that note, people, that's that in relation to what I have to say about Torreira. We're in trouble with that one there, and Edu and the people around him. We know the dynamics, COVID. We might not be in Europe, all of these things, but they're gonna have to. I don't think they're gonna be able to do everything in the summer, but they're gonna have to do something, people, because it's a big summer. It's a big summer. I don't think we're gonna do everything, but if we go into next season and we don't have competent midfield options, we don't have somebody that's a competent right back, you can forget about everything. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, people. It is what it is, man. So, yeah, man, that's that on Torreira, people. What's Yo-Yo saying? This is a pace and power league. I think that's a bit wrong, I think it's a league where if you've got a brain, you can play. I think Torreira's quite limited in that. I think Torreira, personally, I think he does have the athleticism and the IQ. I just think he's being an itch. Replace the itch with a B. I just think he's being soft. I just think the bulk of Torreira's problems because he's soft and he's crying and that. Safe, man. If you don't want to be here, if you're mashing up with the thing and you don't want to be here, keep it moving, man. We just have to keep it moving. It's just a yatty thing, man. It just looks like Torreira's on this. I'm trying not to sound outdated, but this crybaby thing, man, I'm not on it. It's not on it. If you don't want to be here, keep it moving. I mean, Donny was crying because Xhaka was getting swore at by fans. So, I don't think I'd see Vieira and them guys crying. Please make sure you hit the like button. You lot are violating. There's 300 odd of you in here. Man are talking about 150 likes. Let's keep pushing that one there. We're at 124 people. Come on, people. Let's at least get to 200 before the end of this. What have we got here, man? Big up yourself, AK. Paddy, love for the super chat. What have you said? Keep Torreira and try do an Elneny with him. I wouldn't mind Torreira for the side. He can be used with Partey, could be used in place of Partey. That's that number 6, I believe, that needs to be in the squad in case something happens to Partey. If not Torreira, I'm just speaking someone in general. So I'm on that. But you see, me with Torreira, I'm probably the worst guy to ask because I can't shake it. I don't know if you want to be here. Elneny, he might be limited. He might not be a baller in that, but I've never had to question if my man wants to be here. Torreira, I'm not saying he doesn't train well. I'm not saying he doesn't rate the club, but, if you're not happy off the field, you're not going to be happy at work. So, again, I don't want players that are here. I want players that, want to be here. I want players that are street smart. I think we've got to go back to basics, mentality. Anyone that don't look like they have the mentality to be here, they have to keep it moving. It's as simple as that, man. Simple as that for me, man. Big up everybody locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. Hope you're all doing well and safe, man. You're late, man. There's 2 more live streams after this, so it's all good, my guy. It's all good, man. Don't watch nothing. Do not watch nothing. Do you know what it is with Torreira? He just what Arteta wants him to do on the ball is limited with that. So I could see why. You can't build play like that. Partey can do what you do, and I'd say with Partey, he probably backs himself a bit too much on the ball. Just a humble smoothie, tropical sort of smoothie. I got some tropical juice in here, banana, raspberry, strawberry, mango. What's that other one? Papaya. Didn't have any kiwis. Maca powder, honey. Yeah, man, we go again. Probably one of the nicest I made this week, man. I've been on a bit of a bad run with that, man. If you're not happy, bro, if you're not being happy is the minimum. If you're happy and you're galvanized, everything else can tie into it. I don't even think he's got that Kepa confidence. I just think Donny's not serious anymore with this thing. Again, I don't want to make it about that, but when you hear his wife isn't happy in London, happy wife, happy life. I speak to a couple people in the footballing circuit, nothing to do with Torreira, but these things are true. There was a player who left Man United because his wife, couldn't settle off the field. She couldn't find no friends to chill with. The kids weren't settling in school. People move for these sort of reasons. It's like anything in life, man. It is what it is. Big up Andy for hiding from his manager. Be sly with it. Don't get caught, my broski. Don't get caught with it. Big up yourself, Chris TV. I ain't seen you in a hot sec. But yeah, that's that in relation to Torreira. Moving away from it, we're getting through this at a good pace, people. At a good pace. We've spoken on Berge. We've spoken on Torreira. What else we got, people? I mean, just for timestamp purposes, Torreira, where are we at now? 39, 50. Ivan Ndika. Again, I don't want to go over this again, but it's boring. As you lot can see here, I saw it yesterday. Arsenal begin talks with Ivan Ndika's entourage over a 19 million transfer deal. So again, I think it's safe to say we are looking for a centre-half. I believe Arsenal. But if you believe reports, you know, Ivan Ndika's coming, Canute's landing. I'm pretty sure there's been a whole other leap of guys we've been linked with, people. But as you lot can see here, Arsenal have reportedly opened discussions to sign Eintracht Frankfurt defender Ivan Ndika ahead of the summer transfer window. He's caught the attention this season with a series of outstanding performances. As we have already known, because we wanted him last year, allegedly, you know, he can play a free at the back. He is decent on the ball. I do think he's quite real. But fundamentally, he's a left-sided centre-half. And when I look at it, you know, Marie's the only one in the side. I know Holding can play there. I know Gabriel is that. But there isn't too many of that. And it does seem Arteta has a preference, maybe even a fetish for such. So he might be getting his man. You know, I'm not too sure, really. You know, apparently said we've already got a good relationship with his agent because, you know, he helped with the move that obviously brought Nicolas Pepe to our club. You know, Chambers, it's mentioned Chambers is deemed surplus to requirements, and he's probably using this last couple of months to get up to fitness. And I feel for Chambers, he's a calm guy in the squad, but I think he deserves to go somewhere to play consistent football. Like the Arsenal dream isn't happening now, innit? Like the Southampton thing, it didn't bang for anyone, you know. United tried very hard with Luke Shaw and it's working now. The Chambers thing didn't work for us. Ward-Prowse never got it. No one bought him. So it didn't work, in it. And Chambers, he's had some good performances at Arsenal, even when he got that big injury. But, you know, is he going to get a look in at centre-half? Really? Is he going to get a consistent look in at right-back? Really? You know, he went Fulham and played midfield. Is he going to get into Arsenal's midfield? I do think he'd be cool for the squad, the little jack of all trades, master of none. But for him, I would look to, you know, after the terrible time you've had on the injury front and whatnot, I'd look to move on. And you've got a year left in your deal at Arsenal. Again, the homegrown aspect might make him sign for us. It is what it is. But apparently, you know, we could sign him. We could sign Ivan Ndika for as little as 19 million. Apparently, Arsenal are in pole position to land the sought after Frenchman. Apparently, we're short of centre halves. Obviously, with Socrates and Mustafi departing, are we really short of centre halves? Probably. I would say if we're going to bring nothing to do with Ivan Ndika, but bring somebody in who's quality. That doesn't mean big money, world class. Bring someone who is competent, who is consistent, and who can hit the ground running. Like for me, I would like someone more around Pablo Marie's age range, like 25 plus. You know, hopefully, if you could find someone, you know, not with the biggest of profile, but that can be used. I'm on that because I think there's a bit of imbalance, and I do kind of see the logic with keeping David Luiz. You know, long term, I want it to be Gabriel and Saliba, as you lot do, but we've got to be real. That's a very young centre-half pairing, and they have great games, but they will also show their age in it. So I do think, while I would like to see them together, if we can use Marie and a more experienced man or the more experienced player and one of the centre-halves I've mentioned, I'm good for that. I do think, you know, I would like another centre-half, really. I'm not going to sit here and cap. For me, it can't happen, in it. But if Arsenal was serious, for me, and if I could do anything for you guys, people, I'd say we need 2 centre halves minimum. 2 centre midfielders, minimum, a 6 and an 8. That's me, in it. I think we need, so that's 2 signings. I think we need a right back, you know, because Cedric's had good moments, Bellerin's had good and bad periods as a whole. Obviously, you've got Chambers. You know, you've previously had Maitland-Niles, and Maitland-Niles is still technically an Arsenal footballer. But for me, I see Bearman. And I don't see one confirmed option. I want to go into next season with a confirmed option. Do you get what I'm saying, people? A confirmed fullback option. So a right back. Before we talk about this, is the minimums, in it. First choice right back, 2 centre midfielders. You need a backup left back, and you need a centre half. That's 5 signings. How much of that can we do all of that without selling players first, without Europe, or even with Europe? I don't know, in it. And this is where, for me, scouting is the most important thing, because obviously we love all of these big boy signings and stuff, but if you can find someone that can do a job in the French division, or, you know, in Brazil or South America or Africa, or, you know, Europe, where people aren't really watching, like Eastern Europe and things like that, you know, if you can bring, that's all that matters, because that's what we was on, you know. We was doing stuff like that before. Obviously, the game's changed, social media, everybody's looking where everybody's looking for the sake of it, as I would do. If I'm an Arsenal coach, if I hear Chelsea are looking at some second division in France, I might know a team in France. I might have never heard of the team or any of their players, but just because Chelsea's looking, I'm going to go over there and look. You know, same with everybody else. This is why scouting and the DNA is important, because if we knew, I mean, we're told the sort of player we want, young players with potential, and we've brought some of them in, you know. But I think if this club had a real DNA and what we really wanted, then there'd be no problem. When you got a DNA, you know how you want to play football, you know how they can tie into your stuff. It's easier. It's stupid, people, but it doesn't. What I'm about to say is going to sound stupid, but I hope you understand. Yeah, it's almost a thing where we don't necessarily sign players that fit the system. We sign players that are just good footballers. Whoever's having a good season, whoever's doing well at the moment, it is what it is. You know, we can go back and forth, Tino. That's fair play. I think we need a centre half. I think David Luiz is not as bad as people make out, but you know, I want to stop relying on these guys that are past it, and we put these guys in positions. Look how long we relied on Koscielny. I think we need a centre half. You know, I believe in Marie. I believe in Saliba when he comes back, and I believe in Gabriel. I like Holding. That's 4 man. I do think there's an option to bring in a fifth. That's levels. You know, I really do. And I think the club do as well. So I do think we need one. Personally, you don't think we need one. Fair play. That's how the game goes. But either way, what I want to see is proactiveness. I don't want to. Obviously, the club are looking, but I don't want to see us sitting on our hands in the summer, which it always appears. You know, it looked great that we signed Partey, but a serious club that's serious about getting top 4. You get Partey done early doors, you know. Why did we delay? We clearly tried not to pay Thingy. We clearly tried not to pay the release clause for Partey. We tried to probably hold them to ransom, and then obviously it became a chicken, and we needed to bring in the player. So I need to see proactiveness in that regard. So that's who I would want. Elliot has said, I disagree. We need Premier League proven players. You want another Xhaka, you know, whether I don't really care if they're in the Premier League or elsewhere, you know. If we're going to do Premier League shopping, you need Premier League money. Can we, you know, the amount of players we name in the Championship, Premier League, sorry, we like them, but can we sign Lamptey? Because Brighton want probably 20 to 40 million. They probably want 40. If you can't get that, can you get a French equivalent? I don't care if they're in the Premier League or not. I want competent and street smart footballers. You know, I'm not really sure of the point there. You know, it's only relevant if they're good. You know, we've signed Premier League, you know, Williams Premier League proven. David Luiz is Premier League proven. They've won the bloody league, you know. It's only relevant if they're good. And I'm not saying either player is good. Williams found form. David Luiz has been a better signing than I thought and has been all right. But they show you their level. So it's about relative. It's about signing good players, man. You know, I don't believe in the system sort of thing, because I think players can play multiple systems. But what I'd say is them man there have an ID. There's an ID there. It is what it is. I wouldn't mind Ward Prowse, man. Big up Jay, man. Hey, moderators, please pattern up the spamming. Whatever you said, stop spamming people. It won't get your comments read. Amen. Whatever you said, off topic, but your predictions for Man United, Milan. Broski, I'm hoping Milan do the job. I think United are going to pattern them, really. You know, I think I do. For something's telling me there's going to be an English team in both finals of both European competitions. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, man, really. So that's what I believe. What should I call this? Not just ND, but we can call this transfer. So yeah, people, we're moving fast. Let's move this Torreira business. This will become the new timestamp zone. We're moving fast through this, people. Sorry, people. This just makes my life easier, man. It just makes me easy. It's an easy copy and paste job in the comments for you lot that are not taking it in. We're gonna get into Luke. We're gonna get into Martinelli in a second, people. Let me just pattern this up for you guys. So yeah, what have we gone through? Torreira done. That done. People, I don't know nothing about this player at Hibernian, people, but we've been linked with him, and apparently we've missed out. As you can see, Arsenal and Manchester City will miss out on signing Murray Johnson to Wolverhampton, according to the Daily Record. According to this report, us, City and Chelsea were all interested in signing him this summer. He's a young player, 16-year-old, as you lot can see. I watched the FA Youth Cup between Everton and Wigan yesterday, and there's a couple Everton man, but a couple Wigan man I would love to go through. But we've missed out on signing this 16-year-old. You know, apparently Wolves have paid 250k. Again, there's probably a clearer pathway than at these sort of clubs there. So it is what it is. I don't know this guy. Probably could turn out to be a baller in the future, but we've missed out in it. Not just us, but Bearman have missed out on him. For those that are obviously want to know about and be kept in the know. Should we refresh the page? Is there any new Arsenal news? We know Aubameyang has to earn his plays. We know we're playing Olympiacos later. Chelsea want Aguero. Not sure on that. What's this? Let me see what that is saying in a sec. But should we see what Elneny has said now? Elneny has called Mohamed Salah the best African footballer of all time. I'm not too sure of that. I think that's nonsense, but fair play. Scrolling down, let's see what Elneny has said, people. You've become an important member of this squad again. Do you think you'll get that? Did you think you'd get that chance? Apologies, people. You know, I'm too excited. So yeah, Elneny. But let's go over this once again, people. As you lot can see here, people, you've become an important member of this squad again. Did you think you'd ever get that chance? I've expected to come back because I always wanted to be with the biggest team. I'm really happy to be at Arsenal. And you know what is? You know, let's be real, you know. Elneny, like I said, he's here by accident. Besiktas, it didn't bang. They didn't want to keep you permanently. No one wanted to buy him permanently before and after that loan spell. That's why he's at Arsenal. Let's be real. Obviously, people want to play football, and there was an element on the sum of Elneny wanting to go. But I think we needed a squad player. We moved Guendouzi and Torreira on for external factors. Joe and Maitland, in hindsight, left. You know, they want to play football. I think Elneny wants to play football, but I think he's happy to be. He's happy to sit on the bench. He's a cool guy in the dressing room. You know, he's probably one of them man there that, you know, when I used to work in Sainsbury's, there was nothing to do, no problem with this, but I just get this vibe from Elneny. It's like a person I worked with, you know, he worked for Sainsbury's for 30 years, and I get that sort of vibe with Elneny. Happy to be part of the furniture, never makes up a fuss, fantastic attitude, not quite levels, you know, can be a decent squad player. That's why I can see them letting him run down his deal. Personally, I hope with his little mini patches of form and his banger last week in the Europa League alerts clubs to buy him, because if we're real, you know, we're not going to sell everybody, but Elneny, Guendouzi, Joe Willett, Maitland, all of these guys' futures should be in speculation. So fair play to Elneny for building himself up. But this is the problem with Arsenal, you know, we let form gas us too much players, you know, they'll put in 3-4 games of form and then people start wetting their knickers. You know, with all due respect, these are the levels. When asked on ambitions at Arsenal, he said, of course, I want to always be in the first 11. I'll be available to play all the time. I do everything I have to be in the starting 11. If Mikel decides for me to be in the pitch, I do everything in training and build myself up to be available. If he thinks I can start, I will start. If he thinks I can be on the bench, then I'll come in. I'll do my best job to hold my position. I need to always be available to help my teammates. And for what it's worth, I love that attitude from Elneny. I'm cool with Elneny and Matt Ryan, if he stays permanently being squad players, because they get it. But he just seems happy, man. He just seems happy with it. Egyptian Messi, come on, you know you're Egyptian Messi. What, last week, 2 big footballers scored, you know, bangers from outside the area, Elneny and Messi. We've got to enjoy them players before they end their careers. And, you know, he deserves the Egyptian Messi target, you know, name. You know, the Egyptian Messi and the Argentine Messi, they've got 6 Ballon d'Ors between them. You know, we've really got to enjoy them while they're still here, people. I must admit, while I like Elneny and I think he's a good guy, I can't lie to you. We're running a football club. From a sporting point of view, there is reason to keep him as a squad player, but we're running a football club. We're running a football club. We're not running work, and you have to be comfortable and you need a good dressing room. But let's be real. Let's be firmly Elliot, you know, best Egyptian in the Premier League, actually stays on his feet. Let's be real. I think it's too nice at Arsenal. It's like, man, I'm talking about, I just want to know if you're a good footballer. If we're real, Elneny is not going to be good enough to be part of or play a main part in a top 4 team. You know, I just want to, based on his form, he can stay. But, you know, I don't like this niceties. We need to remember, we're not here to make friends. We're here to win football games. He also said, before I came back, Mikel didn't speak to me until I arrived at the start of the season. He said, Mo, we have to understand how I want the midfielders to play. If you don't understand something from the new system, just come and ask me. He helped me so much to understand the way he wants to play, which helped me a lot. After the final against Liverpool, he sat down with me and reviewed my pre-season and the game against Liverpool. It was really good for me to start the season with. And I can't lie, time will tell for me to see the true level of Arteta's man management and people skills. But I think people are very quick to talk about, what happened with Maitland and Aubameyang and this, that, and the other, and why is he being biased to Willian and stuff like that? But I think there's examples of him doing it good, and that's one example as well. Shout out to Elneny because he puts work in, you know. Again, he's spoken about after training, doing his thing. I'm not going to praise a man for doing extra work because you get out what you put in. You know, we all remember you for that goal against Barcelona. Remember the live stream? I was like, Elneny's coming off the bench. He needs to score a banger like against Barcelona. Of course, I didn't think that was going to happen. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about what he said about Aubameyang. You know, let's leave that one there. He said, "Do you think it's appropriate that players are going on international duty?" I don't, but as he said, it's our national team in our country. It's really important for every player. When we go to the national team, we feel proud of ourselves because it's our country and our families. It's something that's good for a player, I think. Facts. Again, I don't want to read these Aubameyang things out, people. Do you feel Lacazette gets unfair criticism? He's an amazing player for us. He scored so many goals for the team. He's an amazing player and loves to score. He always trains after training for finishing. And I think, you know, based on how Pepe and Lacazette have played, and even Odegaard in recent years, I actually think they've been recent weeks. Sorry, not years. I think they've been doing an extra couple of yards after training. Is there any player you're worried about at Olympiacos? This is why I love Elneny, you know. I love Elneny, man. Devout Muslim, don't, you know, it's a good example how to live your life. Like he said, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, he said, I'm never afraid of any player. Olympiacos is a good team, and I know they have nothing to lose. They'll always come and try everything to win the game. Make sure you do the job. You know, I hear your friends talk with Ahmed Hassan, but, you know, once you kick off that game, F all of that. And a lot of this is irrelevant from Elneny. I'm not even going to lie to you, but it is what it is in that regards, people. Again, you can tell I wasn't one for that. It was not interesting, simply put. So let's leave that 5-4. And then he talks Laka and Arsenal. Let's leave that there. So yeah, that's that done. What's that one done? Apparently, Arteta demands 3 changes from the Tottenham win against Olympiacos. I'm not trying to hear about Meghan Markle. I haven't got much time for the royal family. Fuck the royal family and their treatment of her. Anyways, and Piers Morgan, again, not to make this about him, but Piers Morgan, you need to stop running down gal, man. You know, you're a weirdo, man. You're doing all of this just because she rejected you or used you as a free cab. The game is cold, bro. Go and get some real ones. And if you're Piers Morgan's wife, she must feel like crap, man. How does it feel knowing your man is thinking about an ex-woman? Pure B-Tech mentality going on. But apparently Mikel Arteta wants to see his side improve in 3 areas against Olympiacos. Hopefully that is actually taking the lead, not conceding cheap goals, and killing off the game when you've been presented with an issue to do that, people. As you lot know, we did struggle towards the end of the game, but I'm scrolling. He said, everything is different than what we did on Sunday against 10 men. Stop giving simple balls away. Stop putting ourselves in trouble and give a clear direction of where we want to have the ball in those minutes. Play simple and be sure that we can win and manage the situation much better than we did. Facts. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you see that 1 or 2 actions lead to moments to give momentum to opponents, which is fact. You know, and I've been saying all of this, you know, and as have you lot, you get a little bit more tense and you start to have a fear of everything. It's much better energy to have energy to win what you already have and not just think about maintaining what you already have and not losing because you want to start to play much more restricted and lose the flow of the game, and your confidence is something that we cannot do. It's all, bro, he said it there. Like, he said it there. And he's also said, well, no, I'm not going to go over the Aubameyang stuff, people, because that's just boring. So yeah, people. Now let's get into the Martinelli stuff. Let's get into Martinelli. I want to speak about Martinelli. I'm not going to go at lengths about him because I think, where have I got it? I swear I pull it up here, people. I do think there can be no right. You know, you're either playing somebody too, you know, either someone's not playing enough or they're playing too much. My general thoughts on Martinelli, before I talk about Martinelli, is I think a lot's being made, because as much as I'm frustrated Martinelli's not playing, and especially, you know, I really think he should be playing. Let's be real. The attacking sort of players are doing well in that regards, people, you know. So I don't really think it's a force to get into the team. So I think he's had to be patient, you know. Arteta is watching him at training and things like that. So I think he has to be patient in that regards, man. What have we got here? Correction, the most famous Arsenal fans in the UK, Don Robbie, the Queen of England and Piers. Okay, I'm not sure that. Shout out to my guy Robbie. Fuck the Queen. And Piers Morgan can eat a dick. So, yo, what are you helping with? You know, does that mean he's more important than me, you, or anybody else? You know, he's the most famous because he is a superb interviewer and he happens to be an Arsenal fan. It's the bloody Queen of England, and you know, Robbie's come from the struggle. So obviously, you know, the two of those three names are going to be there. Don't know how that doesn't make Piers Morgan a twat. I'd love to know, yo, what you gained from that one. But all right, cool. You know, I don't know what correction there is. He's still a twat. But moving forward, people, with Martinelli, I think people need to be easy. You know, I don't buy the, you know, I do think he's working his way from injury, and at the same time, you know, he's had a couple of niggling injuries since he's come back from the major one. But I think he's fully fit, so I would like to see him play. But what I will say is, you know, there's no rush. I think Arteta is the one watching him. I do think Arteta wants to see something. I do have to wonder, is Martinelli doing something or not doing something in training? I have to say that. Of course, I would like to see him play, especially because there's no Eddie. You could use my man on the left, right. As much as I can sing to the rooftops about Martinelli's technical ability, I love his mentality, and I think in a positive way, it's very infectious on the rest of the boys. Like when we lost against Man City in the cup, who was you seeing gassing the team, looking like the experienced man? From the start, it was Martinelli. I think Martinelli's got that in his regards. And, you know, we've got to be careful, you know. He's had a big injury. He's, 19 or so. We want him to be here for play well for 5 years and whatnot. Let's not let's not go overboard. Once again, that being said, I do wish he played more. I don't understand why he ain't played more, especially when other men haven't been in form and stuff. But let's see what the actual manager himself is saying, people. On the team news, he said everyone is more or less okay. We have a few doubts, but hopefully everyone will be involved in the squad. For me, the only one I don't want to see is Bukayo Saka. Let's use him against West Ham. His hamstring was hurt. Let's allow him in it. He was asked on obviously if it's a good time for everybody. He said it's a really important game for us. Nothing has been decided. There's still another 90 minutes at least to play for, and we know it's going to be tough, and everyone has to be ready. We have the opportunity to make changes. We have 5 substitutes, so we'll decide the best team to try and beat them. I personally think Martinelli's just not doing something in training in Arteta's eyes, because I don't think it's anything to do with tactics. Sometimes when he hasn't brought on Martinelli, the excuses or the reasons, better yet, have been poor in my opinion. So we'll see. But he's been pressed on why Martinelli isn't playing. He said, no, if anything, it's my fault. He's done everything perfect. He trains incredibly well every day. His attitude cannot be any better. He's disappointed he's not playing more, obviously. And I have spoken to him. And that can become disheartening when you're training well and doing everything and you're seeing other players play. It can become disheartening. But again, we've got to think about the collective. But he needs to be a little bit more patient. He had some minutes. He had some games as well. To be fair, it's not just Martinelli. Why isn't Martinelli playing more? Why isn't Pepe playing more? Why isn't Saka playing more? Man said Saka. Why isn't Lacazette, Pepe, and Martinelli playing more? And that's what I'm a bit vexed about, but that's what I like, because people, as you lot can see, there's competition for places now within those front 3 positions, 4 if you include the 10. You know, somebody, all of you are going crazy in the chat. I'm sure if I asked you to name your front 4, some of you name your front 4 in it, front three attackers in the 10. I bet depending on who you are, Martinelli misses out, Smith Rowe misses out, Laka, Bamian, all of these guys miss out, and these are the problems we need. He has had some games as well. And let's be fair, Martinelli he was used as a period under Arteta. He can use his team, and it's a squad game. He does need to be patient. There is competition for places, but I believe Martinelli can fight for those competition, and provide competition for those places, and he should be there. Off topic, he said we talked with Aubameyang, everything's been resolved in a really positive way. Because I don't want to make statements and actually not look at it, people. No, not Martinelli, Arteta. Nobody really cares what he has to say. Apologies, people. I just want to see how many games Martinelli has played from this season. Obviously, we know he ain't played that. And he's only 19, 20 in the summer, you know. He signed a new deal. Like I said, we need to be careful with him. You're either not playing a youngster enough or overplaying him. 34 appearances for Arsenal. Had a hand in 15 goals. He knows how certain he is. For me, obviously, the injuries are part of it, but to only have played 5 games, it's a sad one for him, man. It's a very sad one. And I believe this guy can be Alexis Sanchez. Martinelli's his own, but I see no reason why he can't become that false 9 that Alexis once was. I know he wants to play on the left. I think you can perform on the left. He's played once on the right, and he was quite shocking on the right, but there's no reason you can't do that. And I'm not going to lie, I do think Martinelli, as much as I rate him, I want to keep it trill, people. I do think people whisper when he's played poorly. People don't talk about the silly penalty he conceded a couple years ago against Liverpool, or how poor he was against West Ham, or actually against Southampton. Now, these are handful of moments, people, you know. These are handful of moments, people. Of course, I'm just trying to provide balance. He's played 9 appearances this season. He's been frustrated, as you lot can see. Injuries are a part, as you lot can see. You know, he's been injured for the majority of the season. Scrolling down, I'm just trying to find when he landed. Like, obviously, he got 19 minutes against Everton. Big boy performance against Chelsea, continued where he left off against Burnley, had to eat the bench against West Brom. He got a little minor knock, and since that minor knock, he's been in and out. Got 45 against United, did all right, but he's been in and out the team, people, in relation to the league. And obviously, for the last couple of games, he's had to hold the bench and got no minutes. He weren't even in the squad against Spurs. Now, that one's a bit different because there was family issues in relation to that. He got 58 minutes in this game against Southampton. That's the game I'm referring to. I think he was poor in that regards. He got 49 minutes against Man City, and I think he was very good in that game, man. So again, at least, you know what, Southampton 1, Man City 2, since the injury, Man City, Southampton, United, Chelsea, Brighton. I think in all 5 of those, well, out of those games that he's played proper minutes, people, for me, I think in at least 3 of them he's been good. He was all right against United. It was a decent performance for all of our team. I think he was good against Brighton. He definitely had a great performance against Chelsea. Everton, not really substantial minutes. Newcastle, meaty. Again, Southampton, I think he was poor. City, I think he was great in that defeat. So generally, he's been all right, and he's a good player, man. He's a good player, and it's interesting to see what happens with our strikers. For me, you get little money on Eddie Nketiah. Balogun's gone. Martinelli's your striker if need be. Now, I think Arteta was going to bring in a striker, but it is what it is in that regards, man. I think Martinelli will have his time. I'm frustrated he's not played enough. I can't really understand why he hasn't, but I think his time will come. I think we don't need to panic, really, you know, and we do need to remember, again, he's over the injury, he's fit, and he's been fit now, so him being injured to a degree is irrelevant. It's mad irrelevant now. He's been fit, but at the same time, man's just come back from injury. We're not seeing him in training. We need to take time with it, you know. I'd rather sit here and say, why isn't he playing because he's had injuries, then we're overplaying him. So I would like to see him play more. I do think the reasons for him not being, like, there was one game Arteta never brought him on, and he was saying how there wasn't space and all of these things, and it just sounded like absolute tosh to me. So sometimes I think it's a madness. What I'd have to say is I just think he's either not doing something in training. I think there's an over reliance on Willian, and now Willian's actually put in a performance. This is actually going to harm to a degree Pepe and Lacazette, and obviously Martinelli. I think them 3 are the ones paying due to certain favoritisms going on in the team, but it is what it is in that regards, people. When asked on Saka, he said, you know, he's having a test. You know, he kind of alluded to Smith Rowe having a rest. I wouldn't mind Smith Rowe and Saka being given the day off, or, you know, I'd say Smith Rowe, can he play 60 minutes max if he is to play? Saka, for me, would be on the bench if he is fit and play no part, you know, because I want to save him for West Ham, and these hamstring injuries are very dodgy, and there's been a couple of times we've taken unnecessary gambles with players' injuries, like with Partey against Spurs, and we've might have won a battle because they're fit for that game, but we've lost the war in that they're out for the collective. So it doesn't really make much sense to me. So it is what it is in that regards, people, in relation to Martinelli. So make of that what you will, people. You know, personally, I was going to speak about what I had here, but I'm going to leave that for tomorrow because we'll be back in Premier League sort of stuff, people. So what did we have here? 1 hour, 7 minutes. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. You know, that was Martinelli. Why? Blames himself for Martinelli. So yeah, people, it is what it is in that regards. What are you guys saying? 5 more likes to 200. Hit that one there, man. You know, what have we got here? Jay is saying Laka should start ahead of Abba. He's a better, we play better as a team, not looking into the contact. Sorry, all right, fair play. Facts. So again, different opinions, mad different opinions. Martinelli was the best under Emre because football was disorganized and hectic. Arteta is a control freak, so he has to hold the bench. I think you're a bit wide off the mark there, but fair play. Oh, one of them has to go. Bro, do you know what it is? Martinelli, bro, he's got hunger for himself, you know. Listen, I like when Martinelli talks about the football club. I like that, people. I like when he talks about everything. You know, I want players that play for the club, play for the badge, play for the fans, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah. But away from that, you have to be able to play for yourself. If you can't play for yourself, you can't play for strangers, which essentially are fans. You don't know man from nowhere, you know. And Martinelli, he's come from Brazil on a mission. He wants to be a good footballer. He's not on a joke thing. Saka, he's come from the academy. He's not on a joke thing. Gabriel, Tierney via Scotland. He's not here to mess about. Obviously, they play for the club. They play for the fans. They do all of this, but they've got personal accountability. They don't want to feel personal shame, and they've got pride. So they make sure certain things tie into things. They know the fans will recognize this, you know. And I think for me, Martinelli, Saka, right now, everything's wavy. Everybody's playing well. They were two men that were holding it down. Obviously, Martinelli in the minutes he could when we were dead. That's a lie. People do have Martinelli in the 11, and we've got it right here. Bro, we heard Williams a madness in training, so is what it is. Bro, I'm not fussed on it. I think Martinelli can be a great striker. I just said it. I don't see no reason why Martinelli can't be a number 9 with the ability to play on the flanks, or a winger like he wants to be a left winger with the ability to play up front. I see Martinelli as that. He presses, you know, he's not the biggest, but he's good in the air and he's good with his hold up play. Of course, there's a lot of development playing up front, playing up front. Obviously, you're gonna have to work with your back to goal when there's certain things he's gonna have to get used to. But you know, it's good for your education. And I do think that as well. They're making too much of this. You know, you should be desperate for Martinelli to play. We want to see all our best players. And I think on one hand, I trust Arteta for what he's doing, but on the other hand, it's a madness. It's an absolute madness. Oh, yo, my bad. Kind of flame drop for no reason there. It was just a bit baffling there, what you was on, my guy. To be fair, Basuma's costing a pretty penny. Who said Martinelli at 10? I won't rule out anything, but me, I think you'll get a chance, but it's up to Joe Willock. You know, once you get a taste of playing week in, week out, are you going to get ahead of Xhaka in Arsenal's midfield? Are you going to get ahead of Partey? Who are Arsenal going to bring in? Once you get a taste of first team football, consistent minutes, it is what it is. I think he'll come back and be a squad player, but do you want to go and do that? You know, and to be fair with you, really and truly, as much as I like Joe and I think he's doing well, I'm not really learning a lot about him. I know you run about, you put yourself around. Second half against Villa, there was a lot of individual quality, but it is a madness. To be fair, I love Lacazette. He's got good strengths. I want someone that can be used in that role, man. It is what it is. I can't lie though, people. With that, we've covered everything though. I'm gonna get out of here. The good news is that there's 2 more live streams to come. So I hopefully you're all there for the Arsenal versus Olympiacos live stream. Check out the pinned message. Information's there. This should take you to a landing page, people. If not, but if you give me 1 sec, just because I'm so nice for you guys, I'll drop the link in here, people. 1 sec. Where the hell is the link? Check out the loan report as well. I hear a lot of you asking me about Arsenal's how people are doing on loan and things like that. I do a bloody loan report, so I'm not going to go over the same old things, with all due respect to you guys, people. So yeah, if you're here for the watch along, there you are. And I appreciate you lot gas me when I hear great stream. Cheers, DG. See you later. Like the thing on the way out. Good stream. Big up everybody that's locked in, man. I really appreciate you lot. There's 350 of you here, though. Please make sure you hit the like button. And once again, I started earlier. It's stupid o'clock. You lot have your own lives to live as well. So I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate you lot finding a way to fit me into whatever you're doing this morning. So yeah, man. Hopefully I'm not you don't miss me too much. You know, there's some content there and there's more content coming. But for now, people, it's been a pleasure. 230 likes. We hit the thingy, the target. Keep pushing that one out there, people. There's 230 likes. There's 300 odd of you here. Some people are not doing their job. On that note, though, I'm out, though, man. One love, people. Peace.